Happy weekend, Knicks Nation. I hope you're having a good weekend and that you and your family are safe and healthy and enjoying your weekend this weekend. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, along with the first responders who every day are trying to save lives, those that pick up garbage for us to keep our places clean, those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children that are victims of child molestation and pedophilia. People that are also victims of pornography, child prostitution, human trafficking, sex slavery. Double curses on the perpetrators, the profiteers, and the perverts that create these industries. Finally, blessings upon the homeless. Even today, more than 600,000 men, women, children, veterans, families, senior citizens living in tents, living in cars, living on benches, parks, streets of the United States of America. And millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. Welcome to the chat, Jim Adino, my man, Organic Fanatic, Malik Shabazz, Grand Rising to you, my man, Senior Beef, V Spec, Cooper Dobbins, Keith Watkins, my brother Diamond Holden, Jabroni Z, Lina Jude, my man Lonnie, Samuel Rio, Steve Jordan. Welcome to all of you. How you guys doing? I hope you're enjoying your weekend. Guilford McCormick, welcome to you Stoop Kids Studios. What's up? Bodega Wi-Fi, how you doing? Welcome to all of you, Mancorn. Yes, glad to see Knicks fans coming and representing from the PR and from Miami and from all over the place. Roberto Mendez, Boricua everywhere, please. Right. G. Bostino, Ron Cohen. What's up with y'all? I hope again everybody's enjoying their weekend as time gets closer to the actual season. Man, we got the schedule, and your boy's going to 2 games. I got 2 games on tap. Unfortunately, the only game that's going to be here in Orlando this year is on a Friday night, so I wouldn't be going to that one. But and then the Miami game, I just didn't feel comfortable going down there. So there's that. So I end up I'm going to 2 games, one in Minnesota against the Timberwolves, which expected to be a good game. Both of them in December during my vacation time. I'm taking one to go see my grandchildren and my son, and me and my oldest boy are going to see Minnesota. We'll be sitting right behind the Knicks bench in Minnesota. And then the second one, I'm going there with Senior Beef. We're going to see the Washington Wizards against the Knicks. Washington Wizards, but it's just because, you know, I got 2 kids and my son-in-law there in DC area. So we're going to see that game. Senior Beef, I wanted to talk to you about where we would eat there because I don't know if it's still there, but there was a really nice restaurant right next to the Verizon Center in DC. What was the name of that place, man? There's a spot right next to the Verizon Center. Senior Beef, you know what I'm talking about? There's a spot right there. What's the name of that spot, man? Right next to the Verizon Center. I forgot the name of it, but it's a nice restaurant. I'm thinking maybe we should go there before we go to the game that day. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, right next door. I mean, literally right next door. You can go right there and eat. And they serve some good stuff there. I forgot the name of the spot though. But it's right there. My wife and I they had another spot in Virginia, in Reston. We like to go there. Same restaurant, but that one in Reston closed up before we actually moved from Virginia. But the one in DC, I believe, is still there. What was the name of that place? Damn, I got to look it up now. But yeah, it's cool. It's the one on the Saturday, the 7:00 one at 20 on the 28th of December, Chris Hauser. It's the one that's on the 28th of December, Saturday at 7:00. I believe that's the one. Yeah, that's the game we're going to. And I think we got pretty good seats for that one. We're not far from the bench. Nah, it's another place. Damn. Is it Clyde's? I think it's called Clyde's. Yeah. Is Clyde still there? Let me just look it up. Clyde's in DC. I think it's Clyde's. I think it's Clyde's in Washington. Yeah. It's Clyde's. It's in the Chinatown area. Gallery Place Clyde's. That's what it is. That's the one. Gallery Place Clyde's. It's Clyde's. That's the one, Senior Beef. Clyde's. Let's go there. Unless you have objections, Senior Beef, let's go over there. They serve pretty much everything you would. I mean, even if you're a vegan, I think they serve even vegan food. But I know they got good steak, good chicken, good fish, really good. I mean, so yeah, they got all that stuff. So let's go over there and hook up over there, and then we'll go see the Knicks hopefully get a win against the Wizards. Nobody gets hurt, and we'll be in good shape. It'll be a good night. I'm gonna be my son-in-law, my two daughters. I'm gonna be in there with them. So it's gonna be good. Yeah. I was trying to decide, but I wanted to get back on Sunday the 29th because I got to go back to work on the 2nd. So I wanted to be, able to enjoy a few days in my house without going anywhere. So I did the 28th, and then I'll be back in Florida the 29th and chilling until it's time to go back to work on the 2nd. Yeah, that's it. Oh, you're going to be in the Philippines? Good for you, Coach House. You ain't missing nothing if you're going to the Philippines, bro. You doing all right. That's all right. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Yeah, go get the Philippines. Go do that. That's good, man. That's good. Yeah, that's good. What island you going to in the Philippines? You going to the Big Island? You going to one of the other islands? Which one you going to? What's up, Caliente Kid? How you doing? Yeah. So which island you going to, Coach House? Which island in the Philippines you hit? Manila. Oh, so you're gonna be in the Big Island. I think that's Luzon, right? The Big Island, Luzon. Yeah, you're going there. Okay, go ahead, man. Do your thing. Do your thing down there in the sunny Philippines. Do your thing down there. No problem, man. Be safe. Enjoy yourself. I just found, well, never mind. I don't want to get too far off the subject. We're talking about the Knicks today. So, look here. We got, that is us who are Knicks fans, have something special this year. I mean, realistically, if you've been following the videos this week, I was really highlighting each one of the starting five this week. I'm going to highlight the bench this coming week, but I was highlighting each one of the starting five. And it's funny. I was looking at my man, Organic Fanatics, and he was doing the same thing. He was highlighting each of the starting five. Mark Burner. Y'all crazy. Yeah. So it's funny because I was looking, I said, man, he's doing the same thing, which just made sense because we have really opportunity. Like, for example, if you were paying attention last year, and actually, honestly, the last two seasons, Mitchell Robinson has been on the verge of all defense the last two seasons. If you were watching him last year, he was on the verge of all defense before he got hurt, right? He was headed that way. It was looking that way. Spoon-Fed Podcast, thanks for the $2. What will the Knicks do with the center position? They're going to play. That's what they're going to do. They're going to play and win. That's what they're going to do. But anyway, he was on the verge. If you paid attention, he was on the verge to all defense in the NBA last year. Same the year before he got hurt. In fact, he's been kind of flirting with that for the last 3 seasons, Mitchell Rob, and injuries have always messed him up. And if you heard the podcast with Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart with him, he's very frustrated having missed this, time that he did, both times happening the last couple of times in December. And he's very frustrated at that, and he's determined to not let that happen this year. He's very determined to not let that happen. Somebody suggested that he should wear real heavy ankle braces. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but he already wears real heavy ankle braces. He already does that. That's not the answer because he's been doing that already. He just has to be careful. He has to be in shape. He has to be ready. And Tibbs has got to limit his minutes, which I think will happen. So with that, the question I would ask Knicks Nation, which I have an answer, but do you think it's possible that Mitchell Robinson can be all defense in the NBA this year? See, there's 3 all defensive teams, first, second, third team. Do you think Mitchell Robinson has the talent and the possibility of being an all defense in the NBA this year? Do y'all think so? Does Mitchell Robinson have the possibility of being all? And of course, we're assuming he's going to be healthy for at least 60 to 65 games. So if he's healthy for 60 to 65 games, let me say that so that we can take that off the table. If he's healthy for 60 to 65 games, can Mitchell Robinson be all defense, one of the 3 all defense teams in the NBA? And I think everybody agrees yes. So we're not being delusional to think that he has the ability to be all See, there was a time when Mitchell Robinson was a rookie, I said then he could be a defensive player of the year in the NBA at that time. And people were laughing at me. Oh, he's drafting the second round. Oh, he's not that good. Or he gets in too much foul trouble. People were being very, of course, short-sighted. But I saw all NBA defense potential in him, defensive player of the year potential, and a championship piece when he was a rookie. See, what most people don't understand is it takes a center about 3 years to learn the position in the league. You don't just learn it your first year. It takes about 3 years to learn the position, okay? That's when you take away the hype. Now, with Wembanyama, he was all NBA defense and all that, and he has the ability, but you got to add the hype they gave to him even before he ever played an NBA game. He does have the ability, but generally, 99% of the time, it takes about 3 years to learn that position. Okay. So again, with Mitch Rob, we're not even looking for him to play 72 games. If he could play 65 games, I believe there's no question. I think it was somebody said there's no question he's going to be all NBA defense, right? If he can play 65 games, now that's a big ask, right? So they got to be careful. And that's why I say the Victor Wembanyama, Chet Holmgren model, I believe is what the Knicks would be doing this year with him. Chet Holmgren, I was very impressed with how Diagono managed Holmgren, especially after Holmgren got hurt in his rookie year, his first year, and was out. He came back last year, and they managed his minutes extremely well. He played about 28 to 30 minutes a game last year, and that kept him healthy for the whole season going into the playoffs. Yeah, they managed it perfectly. And so he didn't have to play 40 minutes. He didn't have to play 38 minutes. He was playing 28 to 30 minutes a game. And they were saving him for fourth quarters. Okay. So that's what you're talking about and they did the same thing. Pop did the same thing in San Antonio with Victor Wembanyama. He managed his minutes exactly the same way, and he got higher performance. And that's what, like I said, I go back to Marcus Camby with this. I felt like Van Gundy wasn't paying attention to that. He was trying to think everybody should be like Patrick Ewing, play 81 games and play 38 minutes a game and just, be all world like that. You can't treat somebody that's lighting the behind like that if you want to get the max out of him. And so with Camby, when the Knicks went to the finals in that strike-shortened season, Camby was coming off the bench. Camby was coming off the bench with Sprewell. Now, Sprewell and Camby were both whining at the time saying they should start. Neither of them started. And they went to the finals from the 8th seed. Okay. And part of the reason they were so productive is because they were getting tremendous production per minute out of Marcus Camby because he was coming off the bench and he was not starting. He was whining to start. So then he ended up starting. And guess what? He got hurt. He kept getting hurt. Okay. Because Van Gundy said, oh, you want to start? You're going to play 35 to 40 minutes. Camby wasn't built for that. See, that was 20-something years ago. Okay. Now, in the modern game, you want to get the most out of every minute of every position. You want to maximize what you can get. Okay. So that means that, for example, let's take Kemba Walker as an example. Kemba Walker came to the Knicks, and he really never got over the knee injury he sustained in Charlotte before he left Charlotte. So when he came to the Knicks, Kemba Walker was really good for about 15 minutes. About 15 minutes. If you started to play him longer than that, you were going to get diminishing returns from Kemba Walker. Right? Because then his knee was not going to be able to hold up. He was going to be even a worse liability defensively, though he give his body just the way Brunson does. Kemba Walker take a lot of charges, but he couldn't stay in front of anybody. The knee just wasn't going to allow him to do that. And then he loses something offensively because of the same knee. So if you played him more than 15 minutes, you were going to get diminishing returns. Thibodeau saw that and pulled him from the rotation before midseason. Okay. And he went on Christmas time and dropped 40. Of course, we lost the game. So that's what I'm saying. So you want to get the most in terms of the effect of winning as you can, right? So with Mitchell Robinson, Chet Holmgren, and Wembanyama kind of paved the way, as weird as it is, being in both rookie and first year and all that. But the minutes limitations and it wasn't like real small. They weren't getting no 15. They were getting like 28. But that's the key. They were getting 28, and they were being saved for fourth quarters, and they lasted the whole season, both of those cats. They got like 72 games out of both of them. And so I'm thinking that that's going to be the new template for guys like that. And Mitchell Robinson's in that. Tall, athletic, wiry. Can't really do an 82-game grind like Mikal can do. But if you are careful with how you manage the minutes, you can get the most out of them for the time they're on the floor for what they can do. And in Mitchell Robinson's case, we know rim protection, offensive rebounding. Okay, we know that he can do that. And if he's in shape, which remember 2 years ago, he got up to like 280, trying to get big and couldn't work out. And he was so slow and it hurt his athleticism. Then he started lost weight for last year and looked a lot better coming into the season. Like I said, he was on his way to all defense last year before he got hurt. So if he comes in with that kind of shape that he could run the floor, and he gets his minutes limited. So when you're talking about 28 minutes, right? What are you talking about? 7 minutes a quarter. Right? It's not going to be exactly that, but that's what you're averaging. You're talking about 7 minutes a quarter. That's what you're talking about. So if you give him 7 minutes the first quarter, 7 minutes the second quarter, you don't even start him the third quarter. You let him sit until the end of the third quarter. Then you play him in the fourth quarter. There you go. See, you got him for your fourth quarter. You can even wait until 8 minutes left in the fourth. Put him in. Now you're limiting his minutes and you're maximizing what you get from him. I really believe Thibodeau is smart enough to see that. Thibodeau spends every time he's not actually coaching the Knicks, he's watching film. He's visiting other coaches. He's talking to people to learn. He's always doing it. He's one of the most, I could say easily, top 3 most prepared coaches in the NBA. There's no doubt. Okay, one of the most prepared. And the reason is because he studies so much. So I got to believe he saw what they did with Holmgren and Wembanyama. And he saw, and he knows his defense is predicated on a Mitchell Robinson type guy. And so I really think, that's what we're going to see this year. So you have at the 5, Mitchell Robinson as all NBA defense potential. High level potential for all NBA defense. The only question in my mind would be, can he play 65 games? That's all we need to see. Can he play 65 games? Okay. Can he play 65 games? That's right. I agree with you, Jabroni. I would say the same thing. Tibbs, Spo, Pop, the most prepared coaches in the NBA by far. They put so much work in, and their knowledge of the game is deep, and they're prepared when they come in. When they go to coach a game, they're prepared, and they got their players prepared. So that's, so That's a potential at the 5. So you have at the 5 spot a potential all defensive NBA. Now, this is the thing in the league, right? All defense, all NBA, right? And all star, right? So you got those are I think, as far as the things that tell you how good your season was and what your potential is in the league. I think we can agree those are good measuring sticks. Is that right? So all defense, all NBA is a big one. And then, of course, all-star, which is really a popularity contest, but you still got to give props when somebody's an all-star, okay? So you got all defense, all NBA, and then, of course, the all-star. So when you have a player that can make one of those teams, I think we can agree you got a good player. You got somebody that can help you win a championship, right? So if you got a guy on your team that can be all defense in the NBA, or all-star, or all NBA, you got something. Okay. You got something right there. Okay. So that's Mitchell Robinson. So let's move on to Juju. Is it possible that a healthy Julius Randle, which is a healthy Julius Randle, will give you 70 games? That's a healthy Julius Randle. That's not like crazy expectation. We're not looking at 82 games, but a healthy Julius Randle can give you about 70, 72 games. Okay. Healthy Julius Randle. Is it possible that a healthy Julius Randle can be all-star and all NBA? Is that possible? Can a healthy Julius Randle come into this season, be an all NBA and all-star? Well, how do we know that? See, sometimes you ain't even got it. It's not much of a guess. Why? Because he's done it, right? It's not like much of a guess because, right, Senior B, he's already done it. He's been all-star. 3 of his years with the Knicks have been all-star years. And 2 of his years with the Knicks has been all-NBA. So there's at least 2 years where his peers and coaches and sports writers said that Julius Randle is one of the top 3 power forwards in the NBA. That has already happened. We're not even guessing. We're not arguing, right? That's correct, right? There's been at least 2 seasons of the 4 seasons he has played in with the New York Knicks that he has been voted by his peers and his coaches as one of the top 3 power forwards in the game. Think about that. Okay, he's done it. And there's been at least 3 seasons. And look, can we agree Julius Randle's not one of the most popular players among the fan base in the NBA? Is that correct or not? And in New York, we have a bad habit. We don't vote for our all-stars in New York. I'm not even joking. You think that New York Knicks Nation would be voting for their all-star? New York Knicks Nation don't vote for the all-star game like that. They don't. Julius Randle never got picked for an all-star, which he's done 3 times because the fans voted him in. He got picked by the coaches. The fans vote for the starting 5, correct? They vote for the starters, but the coaches bring the reserves in. The coaches say, okay, these are the starters the fan want to see. This is what we need for reserves, and they bring. So 3 times Julius Randle has been chosen by the coaches as an all-star. So twice he's been chosen by coaches and peers and writers as top 3 power forwards in the league. And 3 times the coaches have said, I want Julius Randle on my all-star team. That's happened 3 times, all with the Knicks. I want Julius Randle on my all-star team. See, regardless of what fans feel, what's up, Miss Evans? I just saw you there. But regardless of what fans feel, this is the real. I'm not telling you no opinion. This is what actually happened. 3 times in his 4 years with the Knicks, coaches have I need reserves. Okay, give me Julius Randle as one of my all-star reserves. And then the sports writers and the league said, listen, one of the top 3 power forwards in the league this particular year was Julius Randle. See, so all the haters need to stop. See, I was against Julius Randle when he first came to the Knicks. I was. His first 2 seasons, I was against him. But then I woke up because I'm seeing what dude has been doing since he got under Tibbs. Got to recognize what he's been doing since he got under Tibbs. Okay. So anyway, that's Juju. So we agree that it is possible. And in fact, let me even make it a little bit more interesting. I think it's a greater than 50% chance that a healthy Julius Randle is both an all-star and an all NBA performer this season. I think it's a greater than 50% chance. I'm not talking, so we're not even just talking about it. So I guess what I'm saying is it's a strong possibility. Hey, the Ant-Man for my formal, the Ant-Man formal. What's up? Thanks for the $10. Peace, Raw. People already down by Hartenstein leaving. If Mitch is healthy, Randall is Hartenstein on steroids. Red Bull in his vein does everything. Mitch backs him up on defense. We'll talk about that in a second. I think y'all get caught up in some of the BS that people make as some of these platforms make as topics, and y'all get caught up in it. And they want you to because they need your clicks. I don't. Crap that ain't worth my time, I don't get caught up in. I am not worried about the center position in New York at all. Like zero. I have zero worry about it. Zero. I'm very confident, and I've been saying that in Precious and Jericho to back up Mitch. I am not worried about it. And I'm not even talking about Juju as a 5. I don't even think that's something we need to even discuss. No, he don't need to play the 5. He don't at all. Zero. Okay? He don't. For what? Oh, so you got Jericho for nothing? What, he just sitting there on his thumbs? What, Precious can't back him up? You can't back Mitch Rob? Come on, man. People that talk like that drive me crazy. So you want diss Precious and Jericho and then claim we need a backup 5. Y'all need to. Don't get me started. I ain't worried about the center position in New York. Y'all could go listen to NBA Central bull crap or whatever the hell they trying to step to with that mess. Well, Knicks need a center. Come on, man. Let's move on. So I think we can agree that Juju has a greater than 50% possibility. A healthy Julius Randle has a greater than 50% possibility of being an all-star and an all-NBA performer this season. Right? I mean, right? So I think we can agree on that. Juju can be an all-NBA, all-star performer this season if he's healthy, and we get, again, we're going to assume he's going to be healthy, and we're going to get at least 65 games out of Julius Randle, which is not even a stretch. That's not like stretching. Like when we say 65 games with Mitch Rob, we're kind of stretching it, right? Because we know Mitch Rob been averaging 60 games, sometimes 50 or less, right? So we can get 65 out of Mitch Rob. That's great. But Juju, I don't think we need to stretch our imagination too much to imagine Juju, a healthy Juju, giving us 65 games. I don't think we need to worry about that. Okay? So what have we said so far? Mitchell Robinson is a strong candidate if he can play 65 games, which means it's a combination of him being healthy and him being managed, right? All defense. We have Juju, who, in a healthy condition, can certainly be an all-star and an all-NBA performer, first, second, or third team all-NBA. He can be one of those, right? One of the top 3 power forwards in the NBA. Okay? Juju. OG Anunoby. OG Anunoby is 27. If we can get 65 games from OG Anunoby, is it possible for him to lead the league in steals? Did you hear that question? If we can get 65 games from OG Anunoby, is it possible for him to lead the league in steals? And why do I say steals? Because he's already done that. He once led the league in steals in Toronto. Okay, so that's entirely possible. He once led the league in steals. Is it possible for OG Anunoby that he can be all defense in the NBA. I don't think there's be if somebody come in here and say I think his defense needs to improve. Y'all need to go to another channel. Go back to high school, man. Go back to high school. Look at the NC2A Division II or something. Because you don't know what you're, if you're gonna come in here talking about OG needs to improve on defense, then I don't want to hear nothing from you. I don't want to hear nothing from you. Okay, I think we should be unanimous. OG Anunoby has all defensive potential, and how do we know? Because he's already done it. Not only that. Not only did he already do it, but we've seen him. We've seen homie on defense. So the biggest issue with him is the same issue we have with Mitch Rob. We got to get 65 games out of homie, and he's been averaging 50 games a year. We got to get 65 out of him. Now, again, I like to bring up this point. His contract got one of the clauses is to get his full money now, he got to get 65 games. And and the thing is too is that I think if I'm not mistaken, right? In the NBA, in order to be considered for an all defense, all NBA player, you have to have 65 games. Like if you only play 50 games, you will not be considered for either all NBA or all defense if you don't play 65 games. So that's also a thing. So like in guys' contracts, they get more money if they're all NBA. Right? They get more money if they're all NBA. They get more money if they're all defense. They get more money. So therefore, the 65 game situation becomes even more important to them because they can get more they can get more bank if they make one of those teams. And OG, I think we can agree, has steals and all NBA. I mean, all defense potential, not all NBA. I'm not going to say he can't be all NBA, but I'm trying to be conservative. I'm not going to be overly outrageous. Anything can happen, but I think it's reasonable to assume that it's a more than 50% possibility, more than 50, that if OG Anunoby plays at least 65 games, he can be all defense in the NBA. Somebody said there's only 2 all defensive teams. I think there's 3, but it doesn't matter. Let's say there's 2. He can be all defense in the NBA. And how do we know that? Aside from us actually seeing him play, he's already been all NBA defense. He's already been. Okay. So what do we have so far, brethren? If Mitchell Robinson can play 65 games with the management of his time, and of course we assume he's going to be in shape. We've all seen videos of him working out, running the track, doing the treadmill, lifting weights. We've seen Mitch Rob do all that. So we know he's going to come in shape. All right. So if he comes in shape and they can manage him to 28 minutes a game, let's say, or NBA defense is a more than 50% possibility. So we have a center that's a possible all defense in the NBA. We have a power forward in Julius Randle. That's a possible, and we're talking about this season. That's a possible with 65 games and he's healthy, a possible all-star as well as all-NBA. We have a small forward in OG Anunoby that if he plays 65 games, he's going to be all defense in the NBA. And there's a more than 50% chance that happens. Is that correct? Am I correct so far, Knicks Nation? Talk to me now. Am I correct so far, Knicks Nation? Is that okay? So am I being outrageous with those possibilities? So if Mitchell Robinson plays 65 games, he can be all NBA defense. Julius Randle plays 65 games, and let's say they're both healthy. He can be all-star and all NBA defense. And all NBA, period. If OG Anunoby plays 65 games, he is going to be all defense in the NBA this year. That's 3. Okay. So far, we got an all-star and an all-NBA player and 2 all-defensive players, and we only talk about 3 of our 5 guys so far. Right? All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's move forward. All right. Mikal Bridges. Is it? No, I think we can assume Mikal Bridges is going to give us 65 games because he's been playing 82 games a year, right? 1 year, the fool played 83 games because he got traded. So I think it's assumption we can assume Mikal Bridges is going to give us 65 games, okay? So he'll meet the minimum requirement. Is it possible for Mikal Bridges to be all defense in the NBA this year? If he plays more than 65 games, can he be all defense in the NBA this year? Can Mikal Bridges do that? Yes. And how do we know that? Because he's already done it. He did it in Phoenix. He was all NBA, all defense in the NBA in Phoenix. Now, here's a tougher one that may require people to, some people are going to disagree. He's never done this, but is it possible for Mikal Bridges to be a 50-40-90 guy? Let me not even say that. Let's say 50-40-85. Let's make it easier. Can Mikal Bridges be 50-40-85, which would be tremendous? Can Mikal Bridges be 50-40-85? Can he do that? What do you got to think? That means 50% from the 2-point area, 40% from 3, and at least 85% from the line. Guess what? He's already done that. So we know he's already done that. Okay? He's already done that. That's not even a guess. He's already done that. So, what do we have so far, Knicks Nation? What do we got so far? We got a center that if he plays 65 games for us this year, which is possible, it's not like book it, but it's possible. You can book it if he plays 65 games. Mitchell Robinson gonna be all defense in the NBA. Juju, if he plays 65 games and he's healthy, Juju's gonna be an all-star. And we're not even, of course, talking about the fans picking him. He's gonna be picked as a reserve, as he's been 3 times already in the NBA, and he's going to probably be one of the top 3 power forwards in the NBA, all NBA. So now you got an all NBA player, an all-star at your power forward. You've got 3 possible all defensive players in Mitchell Robinson, OG Anunoby, and Mikal Bridges, 2 of which have already been all defense in the NBA. Already. You've got one of those 4 guys at this point we're talking can be a 50-40-85 guy and play more than 65 games. Now, let's talk about the head of the snake. Is it possible that Brunson gives us at least 65 games and can be an all-star and all-NBA at the point guard position for the New York Knicks? Is it possible that Jalen Brunson can play at least 65 games, can be an all-star and an all-NBA performer this coming season? Is that possible? I would say again, I think that's a greater than 50% possibility. Like it's not even like just possible. It's greater than 50% that he can be, or he could do all of that. He'll play 65 games. He can be an all-star. He can be all NBA. And let me add this to it. Is it possible that Jalen Brunson can be a 50-40-85 guy? Is it possible that Jalen Brunson can be a 50-40-85 guy? He's flirted with that for the last 3 seasons. So I think we can agree that's entirely possible. He can be a 50% from the field, 40% from 3, 85% from the line. He could do that. Okay. So look at what we got. We got 2 players in the starting 5 that can both be efficient enough. I mean, efficient. That's 50-40-90 is telling you an efficient offensive player. That's 50-40-90 in the NBA is telling you that you can be an efficient player. And let me tell you something. We haven't gotten into the bench. I'm going to go into the bench during the course of this week. But there are at least 2 players on the bench that have 50-40-90 possibilities. And most people are sleeping on them. There are 2 players on the bench in the rotation that could be 50, 40, 90 guys this year. Okay? And people are sleeping on them. There's at least 1 player on the bench that can be all defense in the NBA this season. This season. And there's 2 players on the bench that have possibilities to be 6 men of the year. 2. Okay? That's the bench. We're not even dealing with that yet. So let's deal with the starting 5. So right now, we're not, and I get it. I used to hate it, but I had to admit it was true when people from other cities would laugh at the Knicks and say the fan base was delusional. I was delusional, I admit it. There were times I was just like y'all, so desperate to get anything in here that can help us anytime that I would say things, want things that didn't make sense for a long-term sustainable winner. But that's not the case anymore. Are we being delusional if we say that Jalen Brunson can be an all-star and an all-NBA performer this season, and that he can be 50, 40, 85, which is 50% from the field, 40% from 3, 85% from the line? Am I being delusional? I don't think I am. Am I being delusional by thinking that Mikal Bridges, who has been averaging 20 points a game last 2 seasons, if he can come and be 50, 40, 85 and all defense in the NBA this year, am I being delusional or is that realistic? Am I being delusional by thinking if OG Anunoby plays at least 65 games, he will be all defense in the NBA? Am I being delusional by thinking if Mitchell Robinson plays 65 games this year, he will be all defense in the NBA? Am I being delusional by thinking that Julius Randle, if he plays 65 games healthy, can be all-star and all-NBA this season? There's only one other team, and I mean only one, that can match up with the Knicks like that. There's only one other team. That's the Celtics. That's it. The Celtics have both Tatum and Brown that can both be all-stars and all-NBA. They got Jrue Holiday, who can be and has been all defense in the NBA, and he's also been an all-star. They got Derek White, who can be all defense in the NBA, and he can be 50, 40, 85. They got Kristaps Porzingis, who I think we can agree it's a long shot for him to play 65 games, right? I mean, we're talking about injury prone, right? So Mitch Robbins injury prone. We said OG is definitely injury prone, but I think we got to include Kristaps Porzingis in that injury prone equation. So if they want Kristaps, if Brad Stevens and I forgot the boy's name, the young coach, they got their very good coach, by the way, obviously, they got to limit his minutes, to 28 a game. Because if you recall last year, I think opening night or somewhere in the first week, we played Boston, and Kristaps Porzingis played 37 minutes. I knew they were going to be in trouble right there. Boston, I got Boston fans coming in, yeah, we're going to beat y'all. I said, no, y'all ain't, because Missoula, right? I said, Kristaps Porzingis ain't going to last. Y'all keep playing him 37 minutes. He ain't going to last. And he didn't. But he came back and had enough left to help them win the chip. So if they can limit his minutes, and I think they should, stop messing around with Missoula need to 28 minutes a game, KP, we're going to limit you. Then you could get 65 games out of KP, okay? You can't be playing him no third. The last year when he played the Knicks, the first game, he played 37 minutes. I said, hell no, they ain't learned nothing. They ain't learned nothing. They ain't learned nothing. So, but I think we can agree that Boston has 3 all-star possibilities, right? And with Jrue Holiday and Derek White and KP, they got all defense possibilities. And with Derek White, they can get 50, 40, 85 possibilities. And the same with Kristaps Porzingis, 50, 40, 85 possibilities. Boston is the only other team in the NBA, I'm talking about East and West, that is as deep as the Knicks. There's other teams that have depth. Now, I ain't saying no other team got depth, but in terms of that level where you got all defensive, all-star, all NBA players in your starting 5, multiple in your starting 5, it's just the Knicks and Boston. Can y'all name somebody else? I don't know nobody else that's that level that can do that with all 5 starters. I can't see nobody else. I mean, Oklahoma City, I would say is could come up on that. That's why they favored. I still favor them to be top in the West like they were last year. Minnesota, maybe. They got some serious firepower over there. But really, what we really talking about? I mean, Phoenix, okay, I'll give it to you on paper, but they ain't proved they can stay healthy. Not all 3 of them cats. And did y'all see this week? Did y'all see somebody reported? I think it was Wojnarowski. I think it was Wojnarowski that Phoenix is letting go of Nasir Little because they're very high on the 2 rookies that they drafted. Oh, the 2 rookies I highlighted this year as guys I liked, if you recall, Osu Ighodaro out of Marquette, and of course Ryan Dunn out of Virginia. I told y'all them 2 cats could ball. Didn't I tell y'all that? They were high on my list. I said, man, Ighodaro, I like that guy. And I'm not saying, okay, y'all that are hanging and swinging real hard and high on this boy Kolex nutsack. Okay, I'll give it to you. He could play a little offense. He's good. He could throw some assists. I'll give it to you. But if you actually watched any Marquette's games this year, you will understand that it was Ighodaro that started that offense. It was him that was the distributor. It was him that was the defender. It was him that was the dude. Right? I'm just saying now, Jabrosi G. I mean, I'm just saying. If you actually looked at, and I looked at highlights of many Marquette games, and that's what caused me to say, man, this boy, they were rating Ighodaro down. Some people had him past the 50th pick. And I was like, nah, man, this boy is better than that. I'm telling y'all, 6'10", could lock, he could guard 5 positions on the basketball floor. See, that's what most people don't pay attention to. People are looking at, well, he led the nation in assists, and not looking at the guy that actually was making that team go, who can guard 5 positions. Ighodaro. Okay, so what I was saying is now, Woj or Shams, I forgot which one, was reporting that they letting Nasir Little go. They're eating the money on his contract. Okay, they're eating the money in his contract. Why? Because he said specifically they're very high on Ryan Dunn and also Ighodaro. Phoenix, who wants to win the chip because they got the big 3, right? And I told y'all why. Why? Because they're both on rookie deals. Okay, they picked Ryan Dunn late in the first, and they got Oso Ighodaro in the second. So they got 2 cheap rookies. They got to have that. See, every team right now, especially teams that when you win the championship, there's a lot of money you make from winning the championship. You get more sales of commercial sales. You get more uniform sales. You get more money from the league. You get more sales. You make more international money from China. You make more money when you win a championship. Okay, so now you can afford more to pay the tax that you're going to pay, because you're going to have to pay guys, right? Like Golden State did. They won 4 championships. They paid a lot of dues, but they won 4 championships. That's why they built that new stadium in San Francisco with all them championship money they got, right? So you can afford when you get there. But every team that's not winning the chip is watching their pennies now, because no rich guy wants to pay taxes under any circumstance. Especially, like, if you notice, like, there's rich people, right? That I'm talking about deca millionaires. One of the things they all have in common, if they're not like idiot kids that got inheritance, I'm talking about people that built the wealth, they ain't want to pay no taxes. And even idiot kids have learned from their parents, they don't pay no taxes. So when you're talking about the taxes in the NBA, none of these owners want to pay taxes. So now you're looking at Phoenix, and they're paying most of their salary is in those 3 guys. You're talking about Durant, you're talking about Booker, and you're talking about Beal. That's most of their salary. So what they want then, they want to fill in the rest of the roster with cheapness. And you can't get much cheaper than rookies, especially rookies that the late first or early second round. That's cheap money right there. So if you can get rookies, and especially, you don't need no offensive firepower from Ighodaro or Ryan Dunn, right? Because you got Beal, Durant, and Booker. So you don't need offensive firepower. What you need, defense. You don't need them to score at all. And with Iguodala, he's going to fit like a glove. He's going to play NBA level defense from opening night, and he's going to handle the ball and pass it. That's what they want him to do. Okay, and Dunn is not going to be able to shoot his way out of a paper bag, but he's going to be able to guard anybody that they put him on. They both going to make a lot of rookie mistakes, but it's very rare that you get a guy that you can draft that from opening night can play NBA level defense. That's not something that's easy to do. Okay, not something easy to do. I don't care what people hype a lot, but that's what I look for when I'm looking in the draft. First thing I'm looking for is can a guy that I'm looking at, and mostly, be honest, most people are looking at how many points they can score, how high they can jump, what kind of dunks they do, right? That's what people are looking for, right? Me, when I'm looking at, when you ask me who I like in the draft, it's easy. Can they play first? Can I find out a guy can play NBA level, not just good defense? I'm talking about NBA level defense. That's very rare. Doesn't happen that often. Okay, most guys have to be developed, and it's natural. It's no problem. They got to be developed. It's just part of the growth, right? But there's some guys like a Deuce McBride or a Quentin, right, Grimes, or a Ryan Dunn, or Oso Iguodala that out the gate from when they put the pro uniform on, they can guard anybody in the NBA. That's very rare, y'all. That doesn't happen like that. It's very rare, especially at the 5 spot. Doesn't happen like that. So you get an Iguodala that can guard 1 through 5 from his rookie year. That's why Phoenix got both of them cats. It was a smart move because now they can pay. They're paying him second round money. And they can pay Durant and them. And then when Durant and them salaries up, they can get rid of them and move on and build with these 2 guys for the future. That's how you do it, y'all. See, the Knicks did it smart too because they got their guys on contracts like that. And then they went and got the pieces they need, the Jalen Brunsons, the OG Anunobys, the Mikal Bridges. And Mikal Bridges, I think y'all know, is on a cheap contract for, relative to what he's worth. He's on a very cheap contract. Okay. And of course, Deuce is on a ridiculously cheap contract. Deuce's agent should be fired because Deuce could have got more money than that. But okay. But then the Don will do what he do. So he got Deuce 3 years, $13 million. Deuce should have been at least 3 years, at least $18 million. But he got 3 years, $13 million. Okay. You got him. Locked him up. And he could guard anybody. You know what I'm saying? So that's what you're talking about. And then you got Devo and Hart on contracts that are equivalent to the mid-level exception. It's ridiculous. Then you just signed Precious to $6 million. And you got Jericho Sims on a $2 million deal. And then you just got Payne on the vet men. That's called management, y'all. That's called management, y'all. That's called management. That's called playing chess, y'all. That's called playing chess on a high level. Right there. That's 3-dimensional chess right there. That's how the Don does business. Yes, that's how he does it. So the Knicks have now only Boston, really, that talent-wise can match up with what they got going on. We're not even talking about really the bench yet. I'm just holding my tongue on the bench because we're going to break that down during the course of the week. But starting 5, the Knicks have at least 2 players that's all NBA potential. They got 3 players that's all NBA defense. Yep, 3 defense potential. They got 2 players that are possible 50, 40, 85 guys. Very solid possibilities there, right? And that's just their starting unit. That's just their starting unit. Okay? You got to be, Joe Curry. I mean, I am as big a Knicks fan as anybody. I think y'all could bear witness to that. But I give respect when it's due. And a championship team in the league is a championship team in the league. You got to give respect. No matter how much we hate the Celtics, they won the championship. We got to give them their respect, right? Well, that's you, my brother. That's cool. But I do. To me, you give respect when it's due. The Celtics won the chip. Hats off to them. And they won the chip because they're damn good at what they do in basketball. Between the Ripper, he left the imprint. They went and got Brad Stevens. He coached them, and then he now in the front office, and now they got Missoula. Come on, baby. They catch it good. Hey, what's up? What's up, Carlos? Portuguese port, Portuguese sangria. Let's do that thing, baby. Let's do that thing. Let's do it right. Portuguese sangria, Portuguese port. Let's do that thing. But you got to give support, and you got to give respect when it's due. You know, you give respect when it's due. Man. Yeah, so it's all good. Shout out, Portugal. It's all good. That doesn't mean nothing in terms of what the Knicks can do this year. In fact, to me, if the Knicks beat Boston, not just opening night, but I'm talking about during the course of the season, if they end up eliminating Boston in the playoff, it just makes the Knicks look better because they eliminated. Nobody could say, well, Boston wasn't that good. No, Boston was really good and not good enough to beat the Knicks. That's all. That's all there is to it. See? So I'm not worried about that. Mm-mm. And the thing is, other teams like Cleveland and a lot of people thought that because they got Donovan Mitchell, they're going to win the championship. But the team they had, you know, when you're talking about the Jarrett Allens, Evan Mobley's, and then you added Darius Garland, who was an all-star already, and you added Donovan Mitchell to that mix, teams thought they were going to win the chip. Right? Y'all remember that, right? Oh, man, they're the most improved team. Oh, they got Donovan Mitchell from Utah. Oh, they're going to be all that. Isaac Okoro, you know, their bench, everybody they got. So the first year with Donovan Mitchell, they gets eliminated in the first round in 5 games by the New York Knicks, and Mitchell Robinson took away the lunch money of Allen and Mobley. He just took their lunch money. He said, give me that goddamn lunch money. He just took their lunch money, and it was a 5-game series, and that was the end of that first round, right? Cleveland lost again this past season, right? They lost again this past season. What round they go to this time? Let me look it up. Let me see. Where did they go this year? Let's see. Cleveland. Let's take a look. Last year, Cleveland loses in the semifinals, and they lose 4-1. Again, gentlemen sweep. They went to the second round. They beat the Orlando Magic in the first round in 7 games, losing 5 games to Boston in the second round, 4-1. That's the second one. Now, let me give you a little corny one. Bear with me on a little corny take here. But what is the height of insanity, brethren? What is told, you know, I think it was Einstein said it, or was it Mark Twain? I forgot which one. But which one of them guys said? Somebody said, what's the height of insanity? The height of insanity, right, is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Correct? It's doing the same thing. Now, you got to take into consideration growth, because I still believe Evan Mobley is that guy. I really do. I've liked him coming out of USC. I think his upside is tremendous. And the thing that makes me think that is not only does he play a high level of defense from the 4 spot, he can play a 5 spot, and he can shoot the 3 at a high level. So he can play defense. He has a very good motor. He has a very good basketball IQ. He can shoot the 3. So I always believe, even coming out of USC, that Evan Mobley could be that guy. And I still think so. But I don't think that Garland and Donovan Mitchell's defense is good enough for them to make the finals. I'm not even talking about win. I'm talking about get out of the Eastern Conference. I don't think Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland's defense is good enough for Cleveland to get out of the Eastern Conference at all. And I never thought that. I always told y'all, Donovan Mitchell is not defensive oriented. He's like Jalen Brunson, but there's no Mikal Bridges next to him. There's no OG Anunoby next to him. See, there's no Devo next to him, right? So that lack of see, when you're talking about winning games during the regular season, that team's going to win a lot of games. I would be surprised if, how many games did they win last year? They won 48 games last year. See, that team can win 48 games. They're going to win 48 games. But if you want to get to the finals, you have got to be able to get stops in the playoffs. That's what even Knicks Nation, a lot of y'all still don't get it. Y'all look at players based on what they can do offensively, and you neglect or secondarily think about defense. When you want to win a championship, you must get stops, timely stops, and playoff high intensity atmosphere stops. That's what you got to do. Okay? So what I'm saying is Cleveland can't. That's their problem. They cannot. See, you could have a front line that plays defense like they do, Okoro, Mobley, and Allen. You could have a tremendous front line that plays defense, and they do. But if you don't get some sort of resistance at the point of attack, you're going to get beat in the playoffs. And proof's in the pudding. That happened last 2 years. Okay? And that's been the Achilles heel. You can outscore people, but when it comes to the defensive lineup, and you're talking about the Celtics beat them in 5 games. Why? Because Derek White and Jrue Holiday did a better job of guarding Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell than Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland did guarding them. So I'm saying, if they keep that same backcourt, they're going to have the same result. That's what I'm saying. That's their Achilles heel right there. Okay? That's their Achilles heel. So they can't get stops against high-level teams when they need to. Yes, that's the problem. And that's going to remain the problem. So I'm not worried about Cleveland at all. Not worried about Cleveland. Okay? Philly got Embiid, right? Maxey. And now they got PG-13. Of course, PG-13, what is he? How old is he? 36? Am I right about that? Is he 36? PG-13? Am I right about that? PG-13 is at least 36, right? He's at least 36. Let me see. PG-13, Paul George. Where is this man at? Oh, there he is. Paul George, born in 1990. So Paul George, born in 1990, is 34. He's 34. He's in good shape, but he's 34. Which means by the time they get to the playoffs this season, he'll be 35. So you got Maxey, you got Embiid, who I didn't feel like the year he won the MVP, I thought that should have been the Joker's MVP, honestly. But not, but he got it. So he's MVP. He was MVP the year before last. But do you really think he's going to be healthy? That's what they're dependent on. And then they got a bunch of pieces that are ancillary pieces. I'm not worried about Philly at all. I'm not worried about Philly. And the reason I'm not is because push come to shove. If Mitch Robinson is healthy, he can guard Joel Embiid. If Mitchell Robinson is healthy, he can guard Joel Embiid. The only question is if he's healthy. That's it. He can guard Joel Embiid. I'll give it to you. Jericho Sims, Joel Embiid is tough, man. He's one of the toughest players in the league, right? But, it's Jericho can't really guard him. But I wouldn't sleep on Precious either. Precious could guard that boy, at least a little bit. Precious will give some pressure on him, right? Y'all seen it last year. Precious can guard him. OG can definitely guard. So if we got that, I'm not worried about Philly. I'm not. Maxey gonna get his. Maxey's a superstar in my opinion. He's a superstar. He can get his. You can't stop him. He gonna get his. But we're gonna get ours too. And we're gonna stop them more than they're gonna stop us. So I'm not worried about Philly. That's why we did what we did to him last year. I'm not worried about Philly at all. Yeah. Well, let's try senior beef. You can think whatever you want. That don't mean nothing. like I think I can outrun. I think I can outrun. What's the boy name that won it? I think I can outrun the pro sprinter. Right? Yeah. Right. Okay. I can think whatever I want. That don't mean nothing. So listen, I work out all the time. I'm eating right. I think I can run. I think I can run with the pro sprinter. Okay. 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 We're going to see what happens. Yeah, no, I don't think so, bro. Yeah, right. That's right, Jabroni Z. You looking at it right. That's right. That's right. So yeah, I ain't worried about Philly. Okay. Orlando is up and coming. Okay. Orlando is up and coming. Okay. Orlando's up and coming. They surprised me. I thought they were going to come now. I thought they were going to be good, but they were better than even I thought. I think they were a year ahead of schedule what I thought. Orlando is rough. That daggone Paolo Banchero is that dude, and Franz Wagner is also that dude. They really are good. Jalen Suggs is good. And then they went and got KCP, who's also good. But what does their bench look like? I don't know. What kind of bench they got? They were good on the bench last year. They got Mo Wagner, right? They got Mo Wagner. Where they at? They got Mo Wagner. Let me see here. Cole Anthony, Mo Wagner, Anthony Black, nice rookie they got there. They had Joe Ingles. He's 36. I don't know how much more they can get him. Caleb Houston was good last year. Of course, Jonathan Isaac. They got Gary Harris. They got a lot of guys. You know, you got to give it to them. They Orlando is much better than people think. I'm telling you, Orlando is much better than people think. They really are. Now they added KCP. Yeah, Jalen Suggs, KCP, Anthony Black, Gary Harris. They're going to be, you know, they still got Jonathan Isaac coming to the bench. They're going to be good, man. I'm saying they're going to be really good. I wouldn't sleep on Orlando. Orlando is good, you know, period. They're going to be up there. I think people are sleeping on them. They're going to be up there, okay? Miami, just based on reputation, long-term sustainable winning culture, you know they're going to be around, but I'm not worried about them being top 4 in the East, right? Not worried about that. So I'm not really concerned about Miami in that regard. Orlando, Chauncey Becker, what's up? Orlando is a threat for real. I'm not worried about Philly, not worried about Atlanta, right? Not worried about Philly, not worried about Atlanta. Cleveland, I'm not worried about Cleveland at all. Not worried about them. Milwaukee. What about the Bucks? Now, Giannis, I think you're going to get another MVP level season out of Giannis. Dame Dollar is going to be Dame Dollar, but Dame Dollar wasn't good enough, even Dame Dollar, for them to go anywhere last year. Where Milwaukee went last year? How far did they get? How far did Milwaukee get last year? There wasn't all that. They wasn't all that. Where Milwaukee at? Let's take a look at the Bucks. Where were the Bucks at last year? The Bucks finished 49-33, third in the Eastern Conference, lost in the first round to Indiana in 6 games. I don't think they get any better than that. I don't think they get any better than that. I think that's about as good as you can expect from the Bucks. I think that's about as good as they could do. Yeah. So they messed themselves up by trading Holiday. I have to say they should have kept Giroux and not traded for Dame Dollar. But they did. So, yeah, I don't see Milwaukee being much of a threat. Nope. Now, that brings me to the next one, Indiana. Indiana's good, man. Indiana is good. Halliburton, Benedict Mathurin. I mean, Indiana has got a nice squad, man. Indiana has got a nice squad. They won 47 games last year, and the reason they won 47 games was because Halliburton was hurt a lot. But they got Nembhard, they got Shepherd, they got Aaron Nesmith, who's coming into his own. Obi coming off the bench. Pascal, Miles Turner, Isaiah Jackson. Now they lost Smith, but I think they can overcome that. So I think they'll be okay. So they still TJ McConnell, Ben Shepherd, Benedict Mathurin, Obi Toppin, Isaiah Jackson. That's their bench. They're gonna be good, man. They're gonna be good. They're gonna be good. The only part weakness they have is the health of Halliburton, right? But even with that, Nembhard could ball. Brian Shepard could ball. They already showed they could ball. And them cats play some defense. Even TJ McConnell. His defense ain't great, but it ain't bad. It ain't like you could just walk through McConnell. So Indiana's good. And Carlisle's a hell of a coach. Indiana is good, you know. And so they're going to be there. They're going to be there at the end. And I think the Knicks going to have an edge on their spirit, right? When they play Indiana. They're going to have an edge on their spirit. Juju, all of them. It's going to be on when we play Indiana. Now, we played Indiana this past season with no Juju, right? No Mitch Robb, really, no Juju. And went 7 games. The Knicks, I don't think I'm stretching to say. The Knicks are the better team. The Knicks are the better team, right? I don't think I'm stretching. The Knicks are the better team, okay? We had no OG for most of that, right? No OG, no Mitch Robb at full strength, no Juju, and we went 7 games with them. I think the Knicks are the better team. Given both teams being healthy, I like the Knicks better. Yeah. So I like the Knicks better team if they had to face Indiana, which I'm not slouching on Indiana, but I think the Knicks beat them in 6 games. Both teams being relatively healthy. The Knicks were tired too. I mean, Deuce, Josh Hart, Devo, they played even in our boy Brunson, they played a tremendous amount of minutes, man, before they got to that series. So that's part of the game. Okay, fine. But I don't think that's going to happen 2 years in a row. Okay, I don't think so. I don't think that's going to happen 2 years in a row. If they can get OG, like Joe Curry said, if they can get OG and Mitch Robb, keep them healthy for the playoffs, I think the Knicks beat Indiana in 6 games. I really do. I think they beat them in 6 games. The Knicks just have too much. The Knicks really, if they have everybody in their 9-man rotation, if their 9-man rotation is healthy, they beat Indiana in 6 games. And that's not saying anything bad about Indiana. The Knicks are just better. They just got too much. We just got too much firepower, and I think we beat them in 6 games. And guys like Brunson, guys like Jew, guys like OG and Mitch, they're going to have a chip on their shoulder, when they come to play Indiana. It's going to be like, okay, let's get this on. It's going to be all that. So I'm liking the Knicks in 6 over Indiana. The real threats to the Knicks are Boston, Indiana, and Orlando. That's the real threats to the Knicks this year. I still feel like the Knicks are second in the East this year. And maybe first, depending on how things happen. But if the Knicks are healthy, they're the 2nd seed in the East this year. I really believe that. Some people, I saw some knucklehead, I think it was Bleacher Report, had the Knicks at 5th or 6th in the East. I'm like, what drugs are you on, man? Are you kidding me? I was like, what the hell? The Knicks are, if they're healthy, the Knicks are 2nd in the East. There's no other team that can match up with the level of talent that the Knicks have. The level of potential of all-star, all defense, all NBA potential. The Knicks have 6-man potential. The Knicks are too much, man. So I think they're going to be all right. So like I said, I picked the Knicks to be 2nd in the East. I already said multiple times 55 plus wins for the Knicks. Some of y'all said 60, and I'm not saying y'all crazy. That's entirely possible. You're giving Tom Thibodeau too many weapons. To me, Tibbs, as a Knicks coach, his 2 best coaching jobs were the first year and last year. Those two seasons were his best. Remember, his first year as Knicks coach, he was coach of the year. He should have been. Look what he was playing with. His first year with the Knicks, look what he was playing with. He had his top guys playing 60 or more games were R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, Reggie Bullock, Nerlens Noel, Emmanuel Quickley, Elfrid Payton, and Obi Toppin. That was 7 guys that played 60 or more games. And look, Reggie Bullock is not in the league no more. Nerlens Noel is not in the league no more. Elfrid Payton is not even in the league no more. And these were his top 7 guys. And they went 41 out of 71 games that year. That's why he got Coach of the Year. And he should have. And this past season, he's without OG Anunoby for a large stretch. He's without Julius Randle. He's without Mitchell Robinson. He's got to play Deuce McBride, Devo, Precious, heavy minutes. And they win 50 games. Tremendous coaching job from Tom Thibodeau. So now you're bringing back that same team healthy. You're giving him too much firepower. Tibbs is used to coaching with very little. Okay? It's going to be on, man. I'm telling y'all, it's going to be on. You know, it's going to be on. It's going to be on. So, yeah, you're going to see what happens, man. But it's going to be something. It's KP. That's right. KP's out till January, right? That's actually good for Boston. They're really going to be dependent on Sam Hauser, Cornette off their bench, and they're going to be dependent on Al Horford, which are 3 dependable players. You know, it's 3 dependable players, but they're going to be really hoping that they come through, those 3 guys. Horford will probably start, right? Hauser and Cornette will come off the bench. It's going to be tough. Pritchard is really good coming off the Boston bench. Peyton Pritchard's really good coming off the bench. So they're going to be tough. And when KB gets back, you know and I know that he's going to be much more effective in the last half of the season. You know, so it's going to be a dogfight to the end, y'all. It's going to be a dogfight. Why is KP out? What is wrong with KP that he out all the way until January? Y'all know? What is wrong with him? Why is he out until January? What the hell? Did he get a hangnail or something? What the hell's wrong with him? Let me see. Announced Thursday, KP recently underwent successful foot surgery, expected to be out 5 to 6 months. That was in June 27th. So yeah, he had foot surgery. Damn. Oh no, man. Oh no, they better hope Al Horford, Sam Hauser, who can shoot, and of course Cornette, they better hope them boys stay healthy, man. Horford is what? Horford is at least 37, right? Horford 37, something like that. If I'm not mistaken. Let me just make sure. Let me see. Horford 38, damn it. Al Horford 38. Damn. And the boy is in shape. You know, I gave it to him. Al Horford's in tremendous shape. There's no doubt. He's in tremendous shape. But come on, baby. You're dependent on a 38-year-old to get you to midseason? You're dependent on a 38-year-old to get you to midseason? Okay. That's right. Dominican. Go ahead. Dominican Horford. Oh, he's still good. See, the thing is like this. And Joe Curry, you're right. Horford is still good. I give it to him. He's good. But this is the thing. Not everybody's like LeBron. Okay, so LeBron is playing at almost 40 years old, and he's better. He's still one of the top 10 players in the NBA. He really is. So what usually happens, right, when guys get past 36 is there's a sudden drop off. It doesn't, sometimes it just happens just suddenly. Sometimes you could even see it during the course of a certain game. It just drops off. He's just not the same. And he never gets back to that, right? And I'm not saying it's going to happen to Al Horford, but I've seen it happen to players in the past. There's just a drop off. All of a sudden, boom, they're just not the same. It's just, boom, it changes. It's almost like it's overnight. It just changes. I expected it to happen to LeBron. It did not happen to LeBron. It happened to Michael Jordan. When he went to the Wizards, you saw it. He just wasn't the same guy. He was still getting, taking 30 shots a game, getting 20-something, 30 points a game, but they weren't going nowhere. And he dropped off very precipitously. It happens a lot. John Wall, yep. See, so Al Horford is 38. 38. Like Joe Curry said, he can still ball. Last time we seen him, he's winning a championship. but that could change in a game. That could change, yo. That could change. And if they're dependent on him to play Kristaps Porzingis expected minutes, that really, I don't know. That's gonna be tough, man. We're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see what happens. Yeah, everybody's talking that Roy stuff. Maybe he is. I can't say he is or he isn't. I don't know. But he's playing at a high level, man. That I think we're in agreement. LeBron is playing at a very high level, man. Very high level. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. We got to see what happens. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. We'll see. But I'm not worried about them. While KP is out, especially, I'm not worried about them. Yeah. Right. I mean, Wilt Chamberlain was Wilt Chamberlain. Very difficult to be Wilt Chamberlain, man. That's not easy. Oh, is that true, Jaboni Z? Is that a truism, or are you just saying that? You telling me LeBron wasn't drug tested at the Olympics? He wasn't? Huh? Was he? Really? We'll see. It's going to be interesting. I will tell you that. It's true, Jaboni? Okay. Dang. I didn't know that. I heard there was complaints that the U.S. track team was not drug tested also. I did hear that they were testing the Jamaicans and we're not testing the U.S., but I don't know how true that is or not. I did see somebody complained about that. Yeah, so we'll see. Yes, Andrew. All right, we'll find out because, but they can't afford for LeBron to get caught like on a drug suspension. That would be, woo. Y'all, like suppose Bron is on steroids and suppose they drug tested him and they found him to be on steroids, that would be a suspension. A LeBron James suspension would hurt the NBA severely. They'd have to do a DL, like they have to let LeBron sit on an injury on the DL because it's like with Jordan with the gambling, Jordan retired, right? Everybody knew he was gambling, 150,000 a round in golf and in Las Vegas. He was gambling, man. So he retired and then came back. But they couldn't afford to be having no scandal with Jordan in the NBA. That would hurt the NBA severely. I think LeBron's in the same situation. They can't afford to have LeBron be sitting because he tested positive for some steroid. That would be rough, man. That would hurt the NBA. Yeah, right. I mean, it would hurt the NBA. That would be a bad thing for the NBA. Yeah, he does. He does, Jaboni. They'd probably have him on an injury or something. Yeah, it'd be tough, though. But I don't think, like, Al Horford, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. See, I believe what Jabroni Z. I believe it. I'm going to double check that stat to see if LeBron James or any basketball player was tested for steroids after the Olympics. I think that's standard for them to do it after the Ben Johnson situation in '88. But we'll see. We'll see. Not that was the truth. Man. Anyway, we'll find out. We'll find out, man. We'll find out. But the Knicks match up against anybody in the East, including Boston. The toughest competition for the Knicks in the East is Boston and Orlando and Indiana. Those are the toughest competition for the Knicks in the East this year. I think the Knicks are top 2 in the East this year, just like they were this past season. I think they also are top 2 in the East again this year. Definitely 55 plus wins for New York this year, in my view. And as some of y'all suggested, they could win 60 games. You're giving Tom Thibodeau too much firepower. He could win 60 games with this team. I agree. So we'll see. I'm going to 2 games: Minnesota Timberwolves, Washington Wizards. Please, nobody get hurt. Nobody get hurt. Let's get through this year. Nobody get hurt. Boston minus KP. I wouldn't put them that far down. They're still really without KP. They got 2 All NBA players in their starting lineup. They got at least one. No, they got 2 All Defense guys in their starting lineup. Boston ain't no joke. It ain't like when they lose KP, they'd be a 500 team. If you take Giannis away from Milwaukee, they're a 500 team at best. At best. Okay. You take Giannis from Milwaukee, they're 500. That's it. Okay. You take Donovan Mitchell from Cleveland, they're 500. Okay. You take Pablo Banchero from Orlando, they're not even 500. Okay. They're not even 500. So yeah, there's all of that. There's all of that. Giannis misses, too much time. Milwaukee ain't winning nothing, But with Boston, they could lose KP and still win 50 games. I'm gonna tell you, they can lose KP and still win over 50 games. Boston. That's how good they are. They're really good, man. So I wouldn't sleep on Boston. Okay, they're really good. Okay, right? ESPN. That there's an organization. There's some guys whose predictions you can trust. I don't think ESPN has gotten the Knicks right since they predicted 20-something wins when Juju came, and they would, when Knicks win like 27 games. They ain't been right ever since about the Knicks. They've been slow on the bandwagon, but I don't think they've been right ever since. I think last year I did say 50 wins for the Knicks. I think I did. And nobody was saying 50 wins for the Knicks last year, right? Yeah, y'all remember, beginning of the season, I said the Knicks 51 team. People was like, no, they ain't going to win no 50 games. They might win 45. They're going to be 500. I heard all of that. They're going to win 37 games. Some guys said they're going to be in the lottery. There was some knuckleheads out here last year, man, really giving the BS on the heavy level. Well, the Knicks did win 50 games. And I'm saying this year, at least 55 wins, same team, even, with injuries, 55 wins. They're gonna win. They're gonna win their share of games this year. Yeah. So. Yeah. So yeah, people were saying 41 wins. I heard some guys say 20-something wins, and some guys said 30-something wins. They were really tripping last year. Yeah, and I wouldn't worry about, the Knicks have an edge over them without KP. There's no doubt about that. KP's one of the most difficult covers in the league. 7'4", can shoot the 3. And weak side help defensively, very, very, very good. Yeah, he's tough, man. There's no doubt. High IQ ball player. KP is the unicorn. So the Knicks would have an advantage without him. But I wouldn't sleep on Boston. Boston is still top 3 in the East, even without KP. They're top 3 in the East. I wouldn't sleep on them. Actually, Chauncey, the Knicks proved that 3 years ago. The Knicks ain't been a laughingstock since Tom Thibodeau showed up. They ain't been no laughingstock. Anybody still laughing is a fool. The Knicks ain't been no laughingstock since Tom Thibodeau showed up. Since the Don signed on. They ain't been no laughingstock. The Knicks are now long-term sustainable winners and a threat to take it all this year. They are. So they're ready. They're ready. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. We're going to see what happens. I like our chances, man. I like our chances. Yeah, we doing the laughing now. Yeah, it's gonna be something else, man. It's gonna be something else. But anyway, we'll talk more about that during the course of this week. This week we're gonna be dealing with the Knicks bench, the 4 rotational pieces plus Campaign and Jericho Sims. We'll be dealing with that this week. It's all good. So yeah, I'm getting ready to take my wife to a restaurant We usually go somewhere on Sundays. So we're going to go to one of our favorite places. We ain't been in about 6 months. Going to check this out down in Claremont, Florida. Going to be checking that out. And yeah, taking my bride out there, my lovely bride, to something to eat. And we're going to see how it's going to be good. We know it's going to be good. So. The Lake Mary, Florida. Well, no, what was it called? Not Lake Mary. What's it called? This Malik. It's called Lady Lake. Over here, it's Lady Lake, where them villages are. All them damn rednecks and villages, man. That's it. You go down into the Lady Lake area and the villages, they start looking at you crazy. I say, you know what? You can look any kind of way you want. Don't start, none won't be none. Don't get stupid. There won't be no stupid. Stupid get what stupid does. Don't start, none won't be none. Yeah, that's all I say. When I go to Lady Lake, though, they be looking at me funny and they stupid look, man. I said, don't start none, won't be none. One time I'm crossing the road coming from the supermarket into the parking lot. Dude tried to speed up like I was going to be scared. All I did was look at him, put my hand in my pocket. When he saw that, he stopped and looked at me mad. I said, you can look mad if you want. Don't start none, won't be none. You'll be all right. Oh, man. I was watching Saturday night, was it? Thursday night? With my mom's. It was Nevada against Florida. Little League World Series, right? I don't know who won, though. I didn't see who won. I left before the end of the game. But that game was pretty good, man. They was balling. They were playing some baseball, man. They were playing some baseball out there. Nevada versus Florida. Mm-hmm. All right. We're going to see what happens. But we're going to eat. Me and my wife going to be out there eating. Please be safe wherever you are. It ain't worth your life. Be safe. Be wise. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Shalom.